whenever a footballer joins a top team, no matter where the team is, assuming they're in a relationship, they tend to get married within a year. And a lot of people think the club forces them to get married. And if you think about it, it kind of makes sense. Because, yeah, settled player, if they have kids, it's probably harder to move away, blah, blah, blah. It just kind of makes sense why you'd look for those type of players. But honestly, I don't really think it matters, and obviously it's not something they are looking for, because not every player has a girlfriend or is in a relationship. But anyway, relationships in general are very, very hard. Thank you boys for watching the video. If you've enjoyed, make sure you like, share, subscribe. There's gonna be 2 videos. No, I'm kidding, okay? That's not the end of the video. But relationships in general are hard. And when I say relationships, I don't just mean relationships with a person of the opposite gender, for me, women. I mean relationships in any sense. Relationships with yourself, relationships with women, relationships with God, relationship with your friends and family. Every single one of those relationships matters. But every single one of those relationships has its own problems. And I just want to kind of rant about it for a little bit. I don't know if there's going to be too much value in this video. I mean, feel free to listen in. But I just want to sit down and talk about kind of the problems with modern society, I guess. Let's start with dating, because I think that's the probably most interesting one. The dating market in general just sucks. Like, the dating market is so bad. And I don't just mean, oh, all the women are bad. Everyone is bad. All the women are bad, all the men are bad. Everyone equally sucks. And I know, again, not everyone's bad. I think I'm good, but let's say there are a majority of bad people on both sides. When I talk about bad women, I mean, you know, the ultra feminists, the ones that just straight up hate men, the women who are talking about like, oh, I'll only date a guy who makes 6 figures and 6 foot tall, when really they're not worthy of doing it. And the reason for that is because it's so easy to get really attractive looking men at the club, and you know, they'll hook up with you, and then that's the standard now, even though those people would never want to be in a long-term relationship with you. And men aren't great either. And honestly, I think you could argue that men are actually worse. I'm a man, but you know, I still think men are pretty bad. And the reason I think they're bad is because we have these like subsections of men in general. We have the red pillars who are ultra just into only hooking up with women and they don't care about anything else. We've got the really attractive black pillars who are getting all the girls because they're super attractive. We've got the ugly black pillars who are basically just going, I'm never going to get a girlfriend, I'm never going to date because there's no point. Like, I will never get a girlfriend, which is not true. Anyone can get a girlfriend. You always see these like Slavic couples together where the woman is like drop dead gorgeous and the man is just like straight up a 2 out of 10. He's like fat, he's got a bit of a beer belly, and he's with this like model looking woman. It's crazy, but it does happen. And like, just because you don't look good doesn't mean it's impossible. But I've actually had conversations with people. There's this thing called MGTOW, which is men going their own way, where basically men are opting out of the dating market and just going and doing their own thing. And you also have the blue pill guys. Now, what do I think is the right place to be? I don't think there is a right place to be, because I would consider myself a red pillar. I'm not like a deep red pillar where I'm hooking up and with everyone I see. I don't even hook up. I want to stay a virgin, right? But I do think I associate myself with the red pill, but I don't think the blue pill is completely wrong either. I think there is a level in the middle that is perfect, because the blue pill isn't right, the red pill isn't right, the black pill is just completely wrong. So let's get somewhere in the middle, and I think it's called the purple pill, and it's something I'm doing more research on. When I kind of learn more about it, I'll definitely drop a video on it, because I think it's very interesting. But also I think it's so funny that we even have these like pill analogies, because think about it, like your parents didn't have any analogies. Your parents are together, I hope. Like your grandparents didn't have any analogies. They just met each other on the street and decided, oh, I like you. Oh, I like you, let's get together, you know? It was that easy for them, but for us, it's so hard. And there are so many reasons for it being really difficult. But I think one of the biggest things, and one of the biggest problems for me, at least, is that it is impossible to meet people. Like, I feel like before, you know, you have these like events where people get together, but now nobody hangs out. Like, everyone is in their home alone, scrolling on Instagram, looking at the hottest Instagram models, or looking at these super jacked dudes on Instagram. Like, people are just not living in the real world, where we need people living in the real world. And when I say people aren't living in the real world, yes, you will absolutely still see people outside, but every single one of them will be headphones in on their phone, headphones in listening to music, not paying attention to you, or they're in friend groups. And I understand it's a lot harder to approach someone when they're already in a group. You know, they already have their tribe. You're trying to break into their tribe. I understand that's a lot harder to do. So I'm not telling you to do any of those things. I just think there is a innate problem. I know so many people in my life who don't have any friends. Now I'm fortunate enough to have my own set of friends who, like this own friend group, who have similar values to me, and I think I am so lucky for that. I am always grateful that I have that relationship. But a lot of people don't have that relationship, especially men. Male loneliness pandemic is a real thing. I'll come on to that a little later. Let's go back to dating. It is almost impossible to meet your perfect match in a sense, right? And if you're a guy, you might relate to this, where you used to kind of write down what the ideal girlfriend is. Like, oh, I think she should be this attractive. She should be 5'5". She should be blonde, blah, 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 right? Whatever your perception of attractive is, you would have written that down. Maybe she's Asian, maybe she's white. It doesn't really matter what you think, right? It's just every single one of us has done that. And if you haven't done that, you've definitely like drawn a hot woman before. So you kind of know what hot women are. You kind of know what your type is. But a lot of the time we neglect personality. As stupid as that sounds, we neglect personality. We know personality matters, it's just we don't write that down. And I think it is becoming increasingly harder to find the perfect woman because of modern society. Societal standards are so stupid, and honestly I don't know who's pushing them. I mean, it's probably the government, blah blah blah, whatever, right, to control you. I don't know any of that shit. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, it just sounds legit. What I will say is, like, it is very hard to speak to people who don't have similar values to you. And the only way I think there is to find people who have a similar value to you is by joining communities. When I say communities, there are so many different communities. I've joined a few communities. I've liked some of them, I haven't liked some of them. There's Library of Donis, which is Hamza's community, which it's not a bad community. I like the concept of it, and I like Hamza's videos a fair bit at the time. I don't watch him anymore, but I used to like them a lot. I even like the courses in there. It's fairly good. It's just I don't agree with the people in there. I don't think that people in there are the type of people that I'd want to spend the rest of my life with. But I have joined other communities. I want to give a shout out to Carl's community, Carl Ram. Very good guy. I've joined this community, and honestly I have felt so connected to people. They're not perfect, they aren't my like ideal archetype, but they are so close to me, to the fact that like I enjoy speaking to them. I was on a call with them for like an hour and a half yesterday, maybe 2 hours, and it was so enjoyable. And we were just talking about normal guy problems, you know, relationship problems, speaking to people problems. A lot of people are like socially anxious. A lot of people are scared to approach, scared to get approached, scared to speak to people. Like, it is so sad to me that nowadays we have like self checkouts, because I'm a culprit. What do you even say? Like, I am part of the problem as well. I use self checkout all the time. But the overarching problem with self checkout is that you lose the human interaction. Like, before, people would have to talk to the cashier, you know, oh, I want to get this coffee, whatever. People don't even do that anymore. So your social interaction is basically down to zero. You can literally go outside, buy a bunch of things, come back home, and you would have talked to a grand total of 0 people. And that is just really sad. Also, I feel like I've gone on so many tangents, but back to dating. The one way to meet people, the best way, guys, is dating apps. Dating apps are so shit, because they've just turned into this modern society hookup culture. Like, everyone on there is trying to hook up, and if you're not trying to hook up, you probably aren't going to get any matches, because that's what most people are trying to do. Now, I'm sure some people have met their dream partner on dating apps, and do they work occasionally? Maybe they do, right? I don't know. I've never really used a dating app, because I've been told by so many people that it's not worth it. So I've just decided to cut myself out of the whole dating app thing. It isn't impossible to meet people. I've still met people even without dating apps. It's just way harder. And the best way, and this is like my way of meeting new people, is by going to environments that you genuinely enjoy and speaking to the people there. So an environment like that would be the gym or book club or whatever you enjoy doing. Maybe you like skiing, go to a ski club, you know, whatever it is. And I think there's always this common conception that university is horrible. And look, university isn't the best, right? You could probably learn everything they teach you at university in 6 months. You could. But I think the social aspect of university is something people really take for granted. Now, are you going to meet the best people in university? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I haven't gone to university yet. I'll be going soon. But I do think there is some value in spending time with people who have similar interests. And there's this thing called societies in university where it's literally people who have the same interests that you might genuinely meet lifelong brothers. And I think it's worth just taking the risk and not going to university, but joining a bunch of clubs that you relate to. And I think that concept came from university. You don't need to go to university to get these clubs. It's a great place to go to get clubs, social interaction, blah, blah, blah. But it's not the only place you need to go. So dating 101, go somewhere. The more you are outside, the more likely you are to meet people and the more fun you are to have. I went on a hike with my friends recently. I think it was about 2 weeks ago now. And there were so many people on that hike. We were speaking to random strangers I've never seen before. It wasn't like long conversation. I wasn't getting their numbers, but it was just nice to speak to people I'd never spoken to before. And I think the best way to meet people is just by spending as much time as you can outdoors. The next thing I want to talk about is self-relationships, because I think this is arguably even more important than female relationships, because if you love yourself, other people will love you. You are exactly as good as you think you are. And I think the first problem is that everybody hates themselves. And I understand why everybody hates themselves. You know, you will never be the most attractive, most talented, whatever in the world. You just won't be. You will never be the most talented person at whatever you do. You will always be worse than someone else at something. There is no limit. And it's so easy to fall into that trap because of social media. Like, there's this whole concept of like body dysmorphia online. If you are someone who goes to the gym who is also somewhat active on social media, you will have faced body dysmorphia at some point. I faced body dysmorphia at some point. It sucks. And honestly, it is the worst feeling in the world, because you've been going to the gym consistently for some years. Your physique is finally getting good. And at that point, you see someone who has been going to the gym for 10 years, maybe even on steroids, and they look better than you, and that kills you. And I understand why that kills you, but you need to understand to appreciate the things you're doing right now. You need to be able to appreciate today. You need to be able to appreciate the work you have put in the last year. And I think the best way to do this is just by completely getting off social media, because the less time you are on social media, the less time you are spending looking at other people. Because I promise you, right, this is a fact. I don't have any proof for it because I don't know what lives other people are living. But whatever you see online isn't the truth. A lot of people fake how much fun they're having in real life or what they're actually doing. I meet so many people who genuinely post every single day. Like, they have 3 posts every single day. And it is just, honestly, it's annoying, because it's like, oh, today I'm in Marbella, today I'm in Vietnam, today I'm in Dubai. I'm in all these sick places, and look at you. You're sitting in London at your house doing absolutely nothing. It can suck. But none of that is actually the reality, right? Because yeah, they might be in Vietnam, but they're not actually having as much fun as you are having in London. Like, I've learned to have fun by just doing the things that I enjoy doing. I've gone rock climbing with my friends. I play football with my friends. I box. I go to the gym. I enjoy the life I'm building around. Occasionally, I'll go on a weekly hike, or I'll spend some time family board game night, whatever. My life's fun too. It's just, if I compare myself to someone else's life, yeah, maybe someone else is having a better life. So what? I'm just trying to live the best life I'm trying to live right now. I'm trying to build a life where I can support my friends, my family, my loved ones, take care of everyone around me. And I hope you are too. I think it is really important to have goals, because the more you have goals, the more you're able to appreciate yourself. And another common phrase you'll hear a lot of the time is, you won't actually care about when you reach the goal, but you will really enjoy the journey that you take to get there. And honestly, every time I have completed a goal in my life so far, yes, they haven't been major milestones in my life or whatever, I have still enjoyed the journey infinitely more. I did really well in school. I got really good A levels, to the point where I can go to medical uni, which is a very hard thing to do, right? But the one thing that I will always say, and the one thing I would never regret doing, is just taking some time out to really look at what I enjoyed doing. Because when I look back, after all the time I spent in school, after all the A stars I got, after all the teachers were proud of me, after I competed with all my friends, the one thing that I really enjoyed throughout school, and the one thing that I wanted to continue doing for the rest of my life, was spending time with the guys that I genuinely wanted to spend time with. When I look back at school, I remember there's this really funny moment in, I think it was chem or bio, I don't even remember, where we were shaking a white liquid and I kind of acted like I was jerking it off and the liquid came out a little bit, and it was so funny. I look back at that moment and I have smiles on my face every single time. I remember this time when I was playing football and it was 3-3 and then I went and scored the winning goal and everyone was around me, surrounding me, and we were just having the times of our life. And those are the moments that I miss. I don't miss the hours spent studying. Yes, I still respect the fact that I did really well in A levels and got the best grades you can get. But I don't look back at that with a smile on my face. But I look back at the moments that I have in my life with a smile on my face. And you will feel like that as well. I really want you to appreciate the moments in your life. You need to look back instead of looking forward a lot of the time, because looking forward is absolutely important. I think it's important to have 5-year goals, 10-year goals, 50-year goals, whatever it is, whatever the limit is for you, have those goals. I'm never going to say no to having goals, but I think it is so important to look back at yourself, look back at all the work you've done in the last month, in the last 6 months, in the last year, and just look at it with a sense of pride. Like, yeah, maybe I didn't get as much as I wanted to get done, but I still got a shit ton more done than most people. And if you didn't, motivation as well. I didn't get as much done as I wanted to, but this, like, for the next month I will. I find that the most motivating thing, people always talk about like motivational videos or whatever. The most motivating thing is looking at a picture of yourself from 1 year ago and comparing it to who you are right now, and just going, damn, I have worked hard. I am proud of myself. I'm not going to sit here and say like I'm the best person or whatever on the planet. But what I can say is, compared to who I was 6 months ago, I am infinitely happier. I have way more social interactions, way more friends, great relationship with my family. I am the happiest. I'm doing the things that I actually want to do right now, more so than I've ever done in my life. And I promise you, you will feel the same as long as you just go on and take action. Hopefully the wind isn't too distracting. Hopefully you can't even hear it, but it is what it is. And the final thing I want to talk about when it comes to self-love is that it is infinitely easier to win in the virtual world than it is to win in the real world. When I say virtual world, I mean like video games. It is so much easier. And if any of you has ever played like a game where you level up and you unlock things, I can't think of a game off the top of my head for some reason, but I've definitely played games like that where you feel the progression. You know what? This is one, like Minecraft, right? You start and you have literally nothing. Then you cut some trees down, build a crafting table, get some wood, get some stone, get some iron, get some diamond, and I think they have netherite now, don't they? I haven't even played the netherite update. It's been that long. But every single moment, you feel that sense of progression. You know, when you first get stone, when you first get iron, when you first get diamond, when you build the enchanting table, when you get a bow and arrow, when you beat the ender dragon, there is always a sense of progression. And it is so much easier to do that in Minecraft than it is to do in real life. Now, obviously, you're not mining for iron in real life or mining for diamonds in real life, but it is still possible to level up in real life. When I say level up, I mean get better at the stats that you have right now, right? So the way I look at that is, if you are physically right now at level 1, if you have no muscle on you, whatever, you are just shit, complete infant, right? Infant level stats. You can go to the gym and every rep of bicep curl you do, you get a little bit of XP in that stat. And eventually, if you do enough bicep curls, if you increase the weight based on your level, eventually you will hit level 99, which is the max level. And then you are a physical beast. You are 10 out of 10 in physical. And then you can work on another stat, whether that be agriculture or coding or social skills, whatever it is. Every single thing you do in life can be looked at as a stat. What level are you at in the stat you are at right now? Let's say you're studying for chemistry A levels, whatever, right? When you start, you are level 0. You have never seen a chemistry in your life. But the more you learn chemistry, the more you level up. The more reps you put in, the more past papers you do, the more textbooks you read, whatever, your chemistry level goes up and up and up and up and up until you hit level 99. You know, you finish uni, do chemistry, learn everything about chemistry, and then you are level 99. You might not want to reach level 99 chemistry. You might be happy with level 30 chemistry. Reach level 30 chemistry. You don't need to stick to just one thing. You can level up every stat. I think there used to be this thing back in the day where it was really rewarding to be a jack of, master of one, you know? But now I think it is better to be a jack of all trades, master of none. I don't think it is good to be just good at one thing, because being good at one thing doesn't actually serve you. Whereas if you're good at 50 different things, that does really serve you, and it is something that will really help you. It has started to rain. Hopefully it doesn't get too bad, but we'll see how that goes. That is kind of my segment on, you know, self-love or whatever. Now let's get on to friends. And I think this is the one that really hurts me a lot, because I meet so many people who have literally zero friends, or if not zero, one or two friends. And it makes me really sad, because I honestly, every time I speak to them, I find them so interesting and I find them like so enjoyable to be around. But the reason people are so isolated right now is because you either have a tribe or you have no one. So a lot of the time people are still friends with their like high school friends or university friends. Nobody really makes new friends outside of that. And if you're not part of one of those tribes, so let's say you didn't move out or go to university with your high school friends, or you didn't really have any friends in middle school, whatever, it is pretty much impossible for you to make friends. But it isn't actually impossible. It's just the idea in your head makes you think it's impossible. But the way I look at it is everyone wants friends. Nobody is going to say no to having more friends. It's just you need to put yourself out there and you need to build the skills required to be a friend that everyone wants around. And the way I think about that is, if I was a millionaire, people would want to be friends with me, as shallow as that is. If I had a sick physique, everyone would want to be friends with me. If I had top tier charisma and if I was the funniest person on the planet, everyone would want to be friends with me. And that is something I can work on, as stupid as that sounds. Like, you can work on being more charismatic. You can work on becoming the best version of yourself. Just do that. And I think there is value in being alone, because one, you struggle with the problem not a lot of people deal with. Nowadays, maybe, but realistically, not a lot of people. But you are also infinitely more relatable. It is pouring. I'm going to just finish the video anyway. It is absolutely pouring. But you are dealing with a problem that is unique, but you know how to fix it. So once you fix it, you become like an idol to the people who are struggling with the problem. And I think the problem is going to get worse and worse, because honestly, we spend more time online than any generation ever. It is horrific, the amount of screen time we have nowadays. I have a 3-hour screen time on a normal day, which is considered a very good screen time, by the way. If you have 3 hours of screen time, people will say, damn, how do you only have 3 hours? Because the normal screen time is genuinely like 9 to 12 hours. It is embarrassing how badly online, or how chronically online people are nowadays. It is so bad. I also think the other thing is, and this is probably the bigger thing for me, is that everybody is an NPC nowadays. Like, everyone walks around, talks like a non-playable character, you know. Everyone has the same TikTok humor, you know, haha 6'7", haha, I don't even know what the other ones are, like, skibbity toilet, that was one back in the day, right? I don't even know what people are talking about anymore, like barely speaking English at this point. There's a word that really makes me feel a bit weird on the inside. It's called gooning. Honestly, who made that word and why, you know? Like, that word doesn't even sound good. Like, I say wanking all the time because, like, to me that makes more sense. Gooning just sounds wrong. Like, it just sounds wrong. Like, wanking isn't that bad, you know? Guys, everyone should start wanking. No, please don't. But gooning just sounds wrong. Gooning makes you sound like a bad person. And I think everyone has the same, like, TikTok grade humor. So nobody's interesting anymore because everyone is doing the same things. Everyone is talking about the same 6 posts, or everyone is talking about the same political problem. Oh, guys, bombs in Dubai, everyone run away. Like, yeah, I know. Okay, what do you want me to do about it? Do you want me to turn into Superman and stop the bombs? I can't, okay? So Like, there's no point worrying about those things. But people are so worried about other people's problems and not theirs. Everyone is an NPC. It kind of sucks. We need more original people. I hope if you're watching this, if you've actually got through 25 minutes of me yapping, I hope you are an original person who has their own thoughts. And the best way to get your own thoughts, go outside. Like, I promise you, going on a walk, highest ROI task you can ever do in your life. Just go on a walk, 30-minute walk, nature walk, whatever you want to call it. Just go on a 30-minute walk. Or, and this is something I've started doing a lot more recently because I actually find it even more beneficial than a walk. Literally just sit down and look at the sky. So like put a chair, like I guess I could have a chair right now where I'm sitting and just look up at the sky. So relaxing. And I promise you, I have the best ideas when I'm down here. Literally all I'll do is just, this is good. It is raining, so it doesn't feel great, but you know, it is what it is. And yeah, I promise you, you will feel so good. Everyone has a second grade vocabulary. So if you have a good vocabulary, you will be winning in life, I promise you. And the final thing is really high standards. When you think about your friends, and I guess this kind of counts to women as well, but when you think about your friends, you have very high standards of what a friend should be. You know, a friend should always have my back. A friend should be there for me 24/7. A friend should always support me unconditionally. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever you think a friend should do, we have a very high standard of what a friend is. And I'm gonna say, like, as much as that makes you have less friends in life, I think that's a good thing. And I think you should have a high standard for the people that you spend time with. I always use this quote, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So really be conscious of the people that you're spending time with because they have a significant impact on everything you do in life, whether it's the ambition you feel, whether it's the goals you set, whether it's the things you work towards. The times you will feel the best in your life is when the people around you are aligned to the things that you want to do. When they are, life becomes easy. Life is played on easy mode. So find a way to do that. It is okay to have high standards, even though people will tell you to lower your standards. Never lower your standards. You are as good as you think you are. So just think you're the best and you will attract the best, I promise you. But keep working hard and you will achieve those things. The last kind of part I want to talk about is religion, God, all of that stuff. I feel like we're at a very odd place in the world right now where people are either very religious, somewhat religious, not religious, or like atheist and agnostic. So they believe in God, but not really one religion in specific. I don't actually understand the people who are atheists. If there's an atheist who has like really good views or something, sure, let me know in the comments or something. But generally speaking, I don't think atheism makes sense because I feel like it's generally speaking, if you can't prove something is right, either believe it or just believe it until it's proved wrong. Because I don't think it'll ever be possible for you to prove religion is real or God is real. That's just something you can never do. And it's because it is impossible. You cannot quantify God. You can always say like, oh, God did that, God did this. But you never understand the meaning behind it, right? Like people die every day. Why would God do that to us? I don't know. You don't know. We'll find out, I guess. And hell, if we all die and it just cuts to black and nothing ever happens, great. You know, I don't regret believing in God because it helped me through life. I do think God will help you through life. And I think that's something people get really, really wrong. I think, generally speaking, religious people are the people who get most things done. Now, that's not true for every aspect. I'm sure you can name 100 anomalies. But I think, generally speaking, the more you believe in God, regardless of religion, now I believe in Islam, whatever, but even Christian, the people who achieve the most in life are people who are religious. I don't think that's a crazy thing to say. But I also think nowadays, the people who believe in God and religion and stuff like that are the people who are the most interesting to speak to because now they're no longer NPCs. They're people who have a divine purpose. They know they have been put on this planet to worship God. And people always go like, oh, why would God care if you worship him or not? Like, come on, like, is this stupid questions? Like, people always give the dumbest reasons for not believing in God. Now, if you don't believe in God and you have a reason for it, whatever, please let me know because I honestly find that interesting. I kind of think it's kind of nonsensical to not believe in God because God pretty much is the one person that's always there for you. As crazy as that sounds, like, think about it, right? Your family don't watch you 24/7. Your girlfriend doesn't watch you 24/7. Your friends don't watch you 24/7. But guess who is watching you 24/7? God. He will always be watching you no matter what. And that just keeps you accountable to yourself. You can never, ever hide anything from God. Imagine the pressure that puts on you to be the best version of yourself. Do you think you will do bad things if you know someone is watching you all the time? The way I look at it, there's this really good analogy. I don't know who came up with it, but would you feel awkward if you were doing a bench press and you just hit a PR and your entire classroom was watching? No, you'd feel like the G, you'd feel like the best person ever. But imagine you're in your room, you're cranking it out and your entire classroom's watching. You would feel like shit. And that's because that's bad. You know that's bad, but you still keep doing it. And just keep in mind, look, your friends might not be watching, your family might not be watching, but God is always watching. And the other thing I really like about God is that He will always be there for you. When you feel like you can't talk to your family about anything, when you feel like you can't talk to your friends about anything, your wife, your girlfriend, God will always be there to listen. Even when you sin, like there's this thing like that's commonly said, God is all forgiving. Unbelievable. Do you know anyone else who is all forgiving? No, because nobody else is all forgiving. People always have stipulations. As much as I like to be all forgiving, I'm not all forgiving. I don't forgive and forget all the time, but God does. And there's this really sick story, I guess. It's not really a story, but there's this concept in Islam that there's two angels on your shoulders. One always writes down all the good that you do, and one always writes down all the bad that you do. The angel that writes down all the good, even if it's the smallest thing that you didn't even know was a good thing, he writes it down, or it writes it down as fast as it possibly can. The one that writes down all the bad deeds, it waits 6 hours before writing it down because it wants you to ask for forgiveness before it writes it down. And if you do, wipes the slate clean, or not literally the slate clean, but it gets rid of the bad deed, assuming it's not a horrifically bad deed. That is the mercy of God, and you will never meet someone more merciful. So I really want people to opt into religion, because it feels like nowadays more people are opting out of religion than opting in. I need people to be opting into religion, because I promise you it will be the best thing you've ever done. And if you want to pick, if you don't know where to start, I think the best place to start, people always recommend reading religious books like the Quran or the Bible. I don't know if that's the best place to start, because especially with the Quran, it's written in Arabic. If you don't understand Arabic, you don't understand the Quran, whatever. I think just search up stories of Islam and just listen to those stories. Listen to the amazing things that God has done throughout the eras, and just listen to the stories written in the Quran, because all these stories that we have are from the Quran, or from scholars who have been passed down from family generations, whatever. So all of these stories I believe are true. You might not believe they're true. You might believe they're outlandish, but that is how powerful God is. And I think there is value in just sitting down and listening to that. The most important relationship in your life will always be God, because He will be the one who is there for you no matter what. Even if you do the worst things, God is still on your side. At least that's what I like to believe. You might not believe that. And I understand sometimes it feels like God is really in my life. Like last month it was Ramadan and I felt like I was really connected to God. Since then, I feel like I've fallen off a little bit and I haven't been as grateful to God as I was last month. And it's something that I want to get back to. And I felt less connected to God. But I know He's always there. And that's the beautiful thing about God. And I also like to believe that God knows best. And that's kind of where I want to leave it off. God knows best. Thank you boys for watching the video. If you've enjoyed, make sure you like, share, subscribe, all the shit that YouTubers always say. This is like a new format I'm trying out. I don't know if it's good or bad, whatever. I'm just going to try it out. I really enjoyed it, so it's something that I'm going to continue doing. Let's see how it works out. There's a link in the description if you want to hop on a call with me. We can literally talk about anything. If you're struggling with something, if you're going through something that you just don't feel like telling anyone or you don't have anyone to tell, I'm there for you. And I promise I will help you with it, or at least try my best to. There are going to be 2 videos on either side of the screen. I appreciate you watching till the end. And as always, I believe in you. Go and change the world. Peace.